Hello everyone. I hope this video finds you well and groovy and chirpy. I am sitting here on a winter's morn. I've just had my morning coffee. It's still a little early. I hope the lighting's okay. But I thought before I pack these things away or dispose of them, I would share my June journey. Yes, my June favorites will accompany these folders you see before you, but I thought June journey is really more apt for me at this point because I continue my journey, my incremental journey into simplification and self-discovery, and of course just when I settle back and look around my space and I think, oh, I've got everything sorted out, and you know, I have plenty of room to move. I like the non-clutter, and I have everything here I need. And of course I go into my, what I call my storeroom, and I gaze upon my reference materials. Oh, okay, I see what's coming. So I've been again in my cave for the past week. I think it was really triggered by the onset of the winter solstice, where I felt that, well, I'm sure you feel the same. Winter is a wonderful time to sit quietly in your cave and reflect and journal and study and practice and all those kind of things. It's not necessarily, you know, your favorite time of year to get out and about, although I must say I do find it quite refreshing to go out on a winter's day. But all in all, I felt that never-ending drive to delve deeper, continue further. And so even though I have what I call my reference library well organized, I was reminded by my good self that I no longer need some of this material. So I admit, folks, I am a chronic note taker. I thrive on the like on a classroom setting. I just thrive in the classroom. I love being surrounded by students of like mind. I love learning from teachers. And for me, note-taking is how I absorb the information. So I can sit there and listen to a lecture day in and day out and understand it. But as far as retaining it, it's when my pen hits paper, it seems to just lock it in. So that's, you know, that's just the way it is for me. What comes with that, of course, is a reference library before you know it. And one has to be rather meticulous with notes and, you know, typing them up. Otherwise you end up with, you know, 3,000 scribble pads. And if I have to read my own writing over and over, I really tend to kind of sway away from it in the longer term, to be honest. So I have to find I have to place myself in the chair and type things up. So that's what I do. I felt such a push towards releasing some of this reference material that I have, yet my insecurities do step up from time to time and tend to cling on. I love reference material. I do utilize it. However, I think it's just like clothing. Every now and then one needs to go through their wardrobe and be very honest and take a look at every item and clothing, and of course assess how long it's been since you've worn that particular piece. And if it's, you know, over 6 months or whatever you deem feasible, it's time to donate it to the charity shop. When it comes to reference material, a lot of this obviously is going to go into the recycle bin. But I actually started to feel overwhelmed by having too many folders of information. Even though they're very neatly placed on a shelf, I have space allocated for them. But my internal alarm clock that has been with me for my whole life in a very obvious fashion does tend to ring louder as time goes on. And it just becomes more intense, and I'll wake up in the middle of the night and it's like my higher self talking to me, saying, seriously, why, like, when did you open that folder last? Why are you clinging on to this information? Do you feel like you can't retain it? Do you feel like you have a lack of information to share with people? If so, you better do some shadow work. So I've got to admit, for me, this one was reasonably easy. That feeling of being overloaded by too much information has been playing on my mind for a couple of months. And as the winter solstice approached, it really began to hit home. And as you know, that's a very significant time, because after the summer or winter solstice, we begin a new cycle. And it wasn't too long beforehand that we had the full moon in Scorpio, which is my sun sign. So everything's fitting in really beautifully. So just quickly, what I've got before me is, as one example, I have some folders in here that contain workbooks from courses that I have done. They're just easy to, you know, there's those floppy sort of books, so they're quite easy to store in these things. They keep them nice and upright. So this is Chiron healing that I studied, also the Emmett technique, which is an amazing on-body technique that was created by an Australian gentleman, Ross Emmett. He started working on animals, and in time it transferred to humans. I've done 3 levels out of 6. And I think it is an extraordinary technique. However, I'm not sure whether I'm that much of an on-body person. I'm an energy gal. So that's the only issue that I had with that technique. It's not the technique, it's me. So this is pending, this particular one. But I have here a kinesiology course I did a long, long time ago. And another one called Transformational. I think they call this TK. Yeah, Transformational Kinesiology, which actually came out of Sweden for anyone that's interested. This is my quantum bioenergetics, which I still do, but I don't think I need the notes. Emotional freedom technique, probably a few notes that I'll keep. This one I'm definitely keeping. This is medical astrology, and it's so complex, I'd never remember that in a pink fit. And down here I just have 2 folders. These are my notes from traditional Chinese medicine that I studied quite some years ago, and the one underneath it is Reiki. I was initiated into Tanran Reiki, Kundalini Reiki, and Teramai. So again, I don't really need them, but I'm keeping them for now. In case I sort of teach down the track myself. So these are staying, but I will admit a couple of them are pending. Their fate is in my hands, you might say. Over here, I'm proud to say that all of these folders are empty. So they contained workshop notes and books, etc. And those folders in front there, the coloured ones, are also empty, as well as the white folders up the back. So I'm pretty damn proud. I'm excited. And these notes here, there's quite... yes, quite a significant amount of paper there. I normally turn them over and write notes on the back for the scribbly bits before I recycle them, because I'm so passionate about waste and, well, you know, not wasting. I'm not passionate about wasting. I'm passionate about recycling and reusing and reutilising. But all in all, they are headed for the recycle bin, along with, I have 8 manuals here. That once again, these are techniques that I've studied that I don't need the manual for. So it's a nice feeling, you know, when you sort of sit back and look at what you've achieved. And I'm sharing this in case you're in a similar mindset, and I hope this inspires you to make a move. It is mind-numbing. I will be honest with you. I was really brain dead for 3 days, because for 3 days straight I went through notes. I just took the time off and did nothing other than that. You know, you got to get up every hour and stretch your body, and it's a lot, because I don't see the point in just blindly throwing everything in the bin, but that is an option that may work for you. However, I chose to cull, not totally eliminate, and the reason being, these folders here remain. So I have, as you can see, a lot of notes here. I have a tarot folder, healing and health, medical astrology, which is a course that I did attend at college, numerology, and then the big thick one down the bottom is astrology. And the reason I have them is because they do, they hold, how can I say it? The information, the notes, the reference material that I have and hold in these folders come from a number of different sources. Some of it is course notes, some of it is it's my own notes that I've just chosen to type up so I can refer to them, so I can remember them. In other words, it might be a certain thing that I heard someone say, an aspect that I read in a book, and I think instead of having to go and get that book, I'm just going to type up the highlights of that particular book. Some of them are techniques and so on and so forth. And I find that I refer to my folders more than going, say, into my library. Like over here, that corner bookshelf is all about astrology. I have many astrology textbooks, and I will keep them, but I find that I can gain the information I need, I can gain the support I need sooner by going to this folder, because I know more or less every page in it. So, you know, when you know something, but you think, God, I just need to refresh my memory on this particular aspect of astrology, as an example. That's what a reference book is for. So I'll show you just quickly. Don't worry, I'm not going to go through all of them. But just as an example, you know, a lot of you may have a grimoire, a book of shadows, a journal. This is, to me, my journal in the world of tarot, as an example. It's just information that means something to me that I keep for, well, a number of different reasons, depending on what it is. Here is the Mythic Tarot that has been scanned. It's wonderful for a classroom setting where you can show the whole deck at once. And then inside, especially for the tarot folder, I have, as an example here, photocopied this tarot table that comes from an old textbook that I was not able to get my hands on that belonged to my teacher. And this is a different way to Mary K. Greer's system, where you can calculate your tarot card, like your personality card, your soul factor, and so on. So this is a different system, and I wish I could tell you the name of the book, but I couldn't. This was 1995 or something, so I just can't remember. Again, this is all part of this calculation. This is the ray, the astrological ray. You calculate when you were born. As an example, you be a Gemini. If you were born on a Monday, your word is restlessness. If you were born on a Tuesday, it's actually versatility. So you can see that, you know, you can go very, very deep with regards to your sun sign. Gemini's mantra, of course, is I think. But again, there's a big difference between being born on a Monday and, as an example, on a Sunday is anxiety. But Friday is honest and successful. So it's a ray. It's just a part of your makeup. So from there, again, there are a lot of notes. This page is an example that I typed up myself. This one as well. It's a tarot table. This is some notes. This is just nostalgia. These are notes from my very first tarot class, like level 1. But a lot of them, a lot of these pages are, say, this one here, Swamiji. He is Canadian. He's on YouTube. He's amazing. And that's just his number, like his philosophy on the numbers. He said it. I just sort of more or less transcribed in a scribbly kind of way, and then I typed it up myself. So that's what I mean. These, this is, I think this is Mary K. Greer's. Oh, no, it's not. Sorry. This is another one from my teacher. But anyway, very similar. I think this one here is Mary K. Greer's system, how to calculate your tarot number. There it is. Sorry, your tarot card. Anyway, again, it's just a mix of so many different things that I have come across over the years, and I do find myself referring to them. Is that a double copy of the tarot table I've just discovered? Oh, it is. Okay. I need to join that up. Year, like whatever year you're in, if you're in, you know, say a 5-year, and you can look up the Major Arcana card when you reduce it to a single digit, and that tells you what it's about. This again is an old tarot book that my teacher owned, and it may be a Mary Kay grip. I just can't remember now. But I photocopied not all of it, just some of it. And then the majority of this folder is my own notes. So, in other words, I started collecting out of books that I read, just a line here and a line there about a particular card. So you know what the card means, but it'll be a line where I think, oh, wow, that really speaks to me about the Eight of Wands. And I ended up, over time, I just typed it all up. I keep these also for class if I decide to teach. So there's very, very basic ones from my early days as a student. And then I've typed up some more in-depth explanations. There's a chord card section. So that's basically, you know, what it's all about. And I really do review. I find if I get really kind of caught up and crazy busy, I will just sit down and review my notes and get back to basics. And I really enjoy reading that. I'd have to say my absolute favourite is my astrology folder, and I love it because I've learned a few different techniques of astrology. This pertains to timeline astrology, which is absolutely fascinating, where you actually date planets. So you have a date as to when Pluto was activated in your life, so on and so forth. It's very different to psychological astrology, which I also studied. There's soul-centered astrology, yada, yada, yada. But again, these are just different philosophies, and I refer to this folder more than anything. This is a work sheet that I designed for clients. I fill out the basics and then also take some notes from there and give them their natal chart. This is from my very first astrology class where we had to draw the wheel and what all the houses mean. But other than that, again, it's a lot of notes that I have typed, and it took me so bloody long. I really am reluctant to throw them out. I do, of course, have a digital copy, but I'm not one for, like, I stare at a screen enough. In fact, too much. I prefer to sit down and read paper, read a book. And that is why. So anything from just elements, basic, right through to here we have the axis, you know, the 2nd to the 8th house, the 1st to the 7th, and what that means if you have a lot of planets in those houses, the 6th and the 12th houses, etc. It goes on and on. But it's very, very easy to access information. I've got them divided in different sections. This here, you can see it's an article that was written by Alan Oken, an astrologer whom I respect very, very highly. And this is an article he wrote on aspects, which I really find informative. So again, it is a mishmash, but it's a very well organized mishmash. I know where I can find what it is that I need. There's a whole chunk down here on transits. You can see I've written some notes on synastry there, which is when you put two charts together for people, if they're a couple, for an example. I did a transits course, you know, blah, blah, blah. And that's that. So, you know, these guys, my philosophy is they are full, yes, but that's okay. If it fits in the folder, and you're going to have the folder on your shelf anyway, I don't mind if they're full, as long as the information is relevant, as long as the information is something that I truly believe in my heart that I will refer to. So medical astrology, of course, I would never remember that off the top of my head, so I'll always refer to that. Numerology, I'm keeping that through love, I think, to be totally honest. I don't really need it, but there's some interesting course notes. I took a few courses over the years on numerology, and there are some, you know, different philosophies. So for the moment, they're going to stay on my reference bookshelf. And over here are some other workbooks that I will definitely keep, because I think the courses were really quite extraordinary. There's the Advanced Liquid Crystals course. I did Liquid Crystals practitioner level, then I went on to the advanced, and I also did his manifestation course. I did Jinshin Jutsu, which is like a Japanese on-body course also. It's for self-healing, but you can also practice on others. It's like an acupressure course that concentrates on meridians and things like that. But one course that I did that I thought was absolutely incredible is this one here. I was very, very blessed to find out about this course. It's called the Tree of Life, and it is the work of Dr. Arkady Petrov, who is Russian, and the teacher that came out was Russian. How you can basically develop your mastery as a human being. There are a lot of concentration exercises. It's really very, very fascinating. You can always Google him. Dr. Arkady Petrov worked alongside, what's his name? Grigory Grabovoy. One of them is a scientist, one of them is a psychic, and they created that that healing modality called cellular regeneration, I think it's called, and it's supposed to be absolutely amazing. So I did a course that's based on Grabovoy's work as well. And this is a lady in Australia. She's actually a GP, a doctor, and she is originally from oh my gosh, I can't think. Bosnia, I think she is. Anyway, she's an amazing lady. And again, this is a similar concept as far as it's very, very in-depth. It takes a great deal of study, structure, and concentration. But Grabovoy works with numbers, series of numbers. And again, it's all about self-discovery and self-mastery, to say the least. And this is just the first level. There's many more. So I will never, ever part with those workbooks. I think they are extraordinary. So that is that. I do feel that I will go back to this study of Grabovoy's work. You can see here I have a little series of liquid crystals, bottles down there. That set was actually made up for me by a client of mine. I'm just going to unhitch from my tripod to show you a little closer. There they are. So there is a series of 3 that they call a trinity, which should be 1, 2, and 3 there. And then there are 2 extra bottles. And basically what you do with liquid crystals is you pick 3 cards. For me, I picked kunzite, gold, and bloodstone. So they make up a trinity, 7 drops under the tongue morning and night for the trinity. And the 2 extras don't always come up. It's just as if you have something else come up in your consult, or you have another question or something else to overcome. The lovely lady I know is actually a client of mine for tarot, and I'm a client of hers for liquid crystals. Officially, I am a practitioner, but I just don't do it. I don't really know why. I use the cards, but I don't have the stock for the drops. Maybe I will one day. But at the moment, I'm quite happy to go and see this lovely lady that I know, and she makes them up for me. So the 2 on the end are just, as I started to say, they are extras, and you just take 3 drops under the tongue whenever you feel necessary. It could be at any time of any day. So this one is a combo, I think. Oh no, that's just citrine for abundance, and the other one is she made up a combo. You can see here. Yeah, so that's called the Assyrian, and it's a combination of a few. So there you go. And she gave me a really good tip. If you are taking a trinity, even though you think you'll remember which bottle you're under, because you have to go bottle 1, 2, 3 every day, it's very easy to forget if you're busy. So just put a little elastic band on the bottle that you're using that day, and then flip it over in the morning. I thought that was pretty cool. For anyone that has not seen the liquid crystal cards, so this course that I did, this liquid crystals course, it's the same thing. So you can do the course without having to mix these up. You don't have to. You can just, I mean, it's designed to, but you are not obliged to. You can simply use the cards. You can have all the information that I have and just, you know, get someone else to make up the drops. But these are the cards, and they're really beautiful. And I will go for, to be honest with you, a long period of time and not use them. Yet I don't feel the need to pass them on. I think I will always come back to these cards. And when I do get together with other people that use the liquid crystals, I always feel very inspired to come back to them. The book is very extensive, so if you have the cards, you can just do a healing for yourself. Draw a card and look up the book. What is the healing for you for today? And wow, it's certainly on point. You will get the information you need. And I always just give the deck a knock. And then when you pick your card of the day, I open it and place a glass of water. Allow the glass of water to sit on the card for, 10 minutes or so, and then drink the water. So that's definitely a June favourite for me. And then the only others that I have to share card-wise, Secret Language of the Animals by Chip Richards. I have had this on my wish list for such a long time. Some of you will know that I bought the children's version by mistake. Well, it wasn't by mistake. I was just really drawn to them and I thought, wow, that artwork's really fruity. And it wasn't until I got home that I went through the guidebook properly and realised that it's for kids. But I use it for kids, so it's absolutely fine. My little niece loves it. But just recently I went to the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival and I decided to purchase the cards. These are a Blue Angel publication. And this one I'm not sure who the artist is. I'm sorry. I won't waste time trying to delve into that. And that glare is a bit disturbing. But as you can see, they are so diverse. There's the koala. And I really love the artwork. I'm drawn to this style of artwork. I have the Animal Spirit Oracle, the Wild Unknown, and I love it. But this one here is the one I'm drawn to at this time. So this is definitely a June favourite, and I do love the art book. I do love the guidebook. It has a decent amount of information, as you will see. Well worth a worthwhile investment, I will say. And I love how they have the elements as well. So that's, yeah, definitely well-respected deck. And the other one that I purchased at the Mind, Body, Spirit is the beautiful Celtic Tree Oracle. Stunning artwork by Jimmy Manton. And again, a very decent amount of information as you go on your journey. I mean, look at that. That's plenty of info. Love it. And I'll just show you quickly. I'm sure you've seen walkthroughs on this deck. This is another... this is a Blue Angel too. Yes, of course, because I bought them together, duh. From the Blue Angel stand. Oh, boy. Anyway, let's just try and get that in focus. There we go. This is beautiful. And again, I just find it to be beautifully diverse as well. It's not just one leaf after another. Look at that. Oh, I'm trying to get myself out of the background. So this is definitely a June favourite for me. There are certain oracle decks that I think, I will never part with this one. Like Sacred Oracles, I would never give that away. I do believe this is another. I don't have... a lot of plant oracles. As far as tarot goes, interesting. I didn't really think about it at the time until I got about halfway through the month and I realized that the two tarot decks that I've been drawn to are a little otherworldly, and they are the Sacred Rose and the Celestial. Both are very special to me because I purchased them off two beautiful ladies. The Sacred Rose I purchased off a local lady here in my hometown, and the Celestial I purchased off the beautiful Katie Flowers. I still have the card that she wrote to me, which is so gorgeous. I keep it in the box, and I love both decks. So I'll show you just a few of the cards. I had an interesting journey with the... Sacred Rose. I fell in love and then I found myself again floating off into another direction. I will say that I have always loved the colour combinations in this artwork. It's so rich. It's very fulfilling in many ways, but I don't always feel the need for these little otherworldly kind of creatures. Yet I thought to myself recently, well, It's a specialized deck. That's why you've got it. And so why on earth would you want to give it away? Because I was teetering at one point. I thought, look, if I find a swap that I really love and someone wants this deck, whoops, I'll hand this deck over for a swap. And I've since changed my mind. And there it is. I felt a very strong pull towards this deck in the month of June. And I do feel it's very apt at the moment because I'm going through such powerful shifts. Neptune went retrograde, which says pay attention to your dreams and anything out of the ordinary, which this deck is. And I love the fact that in both decks, they stray. I'll show you some of the celestial while I chat. They both stray in their artwork and their meaning. They stray away from the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith philosophy. So you see the parallels. But here, like as an example, there's the Ten of Pentacles. Isn't that magnificent? And that's what I love. That's the whole point of having a tarot collection, as far as I'm concerned. You know, for me, the recipe for success is diversity. So I don't need... I mean, I do have a number of Rider-Waite-based decks, of course. Most of them are. But I need those decks that sort of step aside, step away, step out of the box. And that's what helps me learn and expand my horizons. And of course, this one here has astrological, astronomical, and mythological associations very deeply. And that's, for me, you know me, right up my alley. So this deck here I will never part with. I have trimmed this one, as you can see. I'm not a baby blue kind of gal. It doesn't really rock my world, that colour. So I just edged it because I was impatient in this colour that I already own. But I'm going to actually get myself a Sharpie that matches that beautiful backing there. And I think that'll change it. But anyway, I love it edged. It's all fine. Sorry, I love it trimmed. This one I haven't trimmed, and only recently I saw an image of this deck trimmed and I thought it looked magnificent. I wasn't willing to do that because I thought I might swap, but now that I've come to my senses, I think I am going to trim it just to the edge of the black, not too far in, but just sort of to there. Anyway, I'll show you when I'm done. And I don't know what I will... Sorry, trim it, I'm saying. I will trim it to there. What I will edge it in, I'm not sure yet. So anyway, there you have it, folks. They are my June favourites. Okay, I'll make this quick because this video is too long and my battery's about to go dead. This is my new Book of Shadows. I decided to ditch the other one. I didn't like the fact that it was plastic, even though this is not a traditional grimoire. It wouldn't pass as an authentic grimoire, I should say. But I love the recycled, you know, material aspect of this, recycled paper. I came across this image and I wish I could give credit to the artist, but I'm sorry, I just don't know who it is. But it was so pathways and possibilities, and I feel just like this person standing here looking at all the different options and avenues. It's like Seven of Cups on steroids. It's how I feel at the moment. Yet I'm still going through this process of simplification and letting go. But the old folder that I had was this. And the reason I adopted this folder is because I love the fact that you can add anything in at any particular place. But doing these little, you know, I can't get A4 paper with this particular finish on it, you know, with all the holes. And it was just becoming a pain in the butt, having to do it myself. Not only that, it is actually, it fills up very, very quickly. So I decided to get a bigger folder, and it just gives me more space, more room to move. So I put in here the magic hand, which I love this image. And I've just transferred some of the information, but this was definitely a June highlight for me. There's a lot more information I need to transfer from the old into this one, but I've kept my you know, words for the year: simplify, study, and seek. And as you can see, there's so much more space to move here. This is just a little page I did. This is one of the leaves that, you know, fell in the autumn season from this massive tree in my street. Some tarot, just, you know, one of my favorite mantras is be a cosmic creator. I need to remind myself of that always. This is astrology notes for 2017. And what I did was I found another calendar. It has the moon phases, and I just put astrological highlights, you know, retrograde action, someone's birthday, whatever, in here. So that's for the year. I have to write all those notes up. And here are my tarot insights. So these are tarot spreads that I've done for myself and will continue as time goes on. There's a spirit guide spread. It could be absolutely anything. The next one is astrology. So these are astrology notes that I take at the beginning of the month, and also my own personal journey with astrology, how those astrological aspects have affected me, etc., etc. So it's a little bit of both. And after that, I have full moon and new moon spreads and any wishes. So this is the new heading that I just made up. So it's only quite pale, but there's full moon in, and I did a new moon in, and then wishes and spreads for that particular full moon. Oh, sorry, new moon wishes, pardon me. So that's that. And then this one here, in my old one, I had Ponder Before You Go Yonder. That was Pondering the Month, which I have now changed to Monthly Musings. So I've got a lot of information I need to write up. And this will be my little magic area here. So spells and magic, anything that I do pertaining to that area of life. And what else? What else? What else? What else? Shadow work. Quotes and inspiration. And then this here, I took a leaf out of Christine and Celeste's book. I thought this was such a great idea. She made up a table where you can document how many times in the year that any particular card comes up. So this is the major arcana. And I did, this is more detailed, like how many times in January, February, March, etc. I'm sorry this keeps going out of focus, everyone. This other one I made for the second page is just for the minors, not quite as detailed. It's just for the whole year. You know, how many times does the Ace of Wands come up, or the Three of Cups, whatever, whatever. And then down the bottom, I have the court cards. So I'm going to start that from the 1st of July because I just made that up the other day. That'll be an ongoing thing. And then the only other thing I've got here thus far is I've decided to put some notes in the back. I found this. See, that's what a cleanup is all about, folks. I found in one of my folders my old notes about my health journey, my healing journey, because I ended up becoming very unwell, which is why I left the music industry. And when I did, one time I went to hospital. I was actually on vacation in Langkawi, which is a beautiful Malaysian island, and it was my birthday, and all of a sudden I became very, very unwell. Ended up in hospital. So I wrote down the deets, and I'm glad I did because I would have forgotten. And this is a transit chart that I did for that day. I wrote down, I started tracking, you know, when did I first get this illness, and so on and so forth. And what I found also is my own numerology table that I did way, way back. So I'm keeping them in my self-mastery folder, my grimoire. It's my name, all my details for my numbers, my pinnacles and challenges, my essence years, and then this is a read I had from a clairvoyant years ago that was pretty funky, and I haven't read it in years, so I'm going to go through it and just pick out any relevant information. So I thought that's a really good element to add to my Book of Shadows, is just the history, my health and healing history from a physical perspective, as well as, you know, say a tarot perspective. It's like that physical journey as well. So there you have it. That is my Book of Shadows, my grimoire, my self-mastery folder, call it what you will. But that is as it stands, and I'm sure it'll grow and morph and assist me along my path in many ways, which is exactly what that image reminds me of. So that's that, everyone. This is my my June journey. I hope you gained something positive out of it. I do apologise for the focus on my camera just can't seem to cope with long and short distance shots simultaneously. But anyway, I think you get the idea. So it's lovely to chat to you all. I hope this video finds you well, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.